إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله تعالى من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهد الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وسلم تسليما كثيرا. أما بعد، فإن خير الكلام كلام الله تعالى وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. أما بعد. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in Surah Al-Baqarah, وَإِذِ ابْتَلَى إِبْرَاهِيمَ رَبُّهُ بِكَلِمَاتٍ فَأَتَمَّهُنَّ قَالَ إِنِّي جَاعِلُكَ لِلنَّاسِ إِمَامًا قَالَ وَمِن ذُرِّيَّتِي قَالَ لَا يَنَالُ عَهْدِ الظَّالِمِينَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us in this ayah, and remember when Abraham alayhi salam was tested by his Lord, when Allah tested Ibrahim. And he said he tested him through several words, meaning commands. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanding Ibrahim alayhi salam. And many commands we receive are tests to us, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to see whether we follow or not, whether we obey or not. So this is a kind of test we're talking about. Allah commanding us to do something in the Quran, in the Sunnah, right? And whether we follow, we obey or not. This is the content of the test. In the case of Ibrahim alayhi salam, obviously Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala directs Ibrahim directly because he's a prophet. So for a prophet, even if you see a dream, that is a command from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can speak to you, can command you through a dream. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us about the result of that test. He said, فَأَتَمَّهُنْ. He completed all the tests. He passed with flying colors, as we say. He completed, he perfected each and every test. So that is something to pay attention to, inshallah. But he said, قَالَ إِنِّي جَاعِلُكَ لِلنَّاسِ إِمَامًا. So as a result, after those tests, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala declared, and he said, I'm going to make you an imam. I'm going to make you an imam for the people, linnas, to all the people. And no doubt, many people, not just Muslims, many people consider Ibrahim alayhi salam to be a leader, to be an imam. Now, Ibrahim alayhi salam, being Ibrahim, he's also thinking of his progeny, his descendants, his children. So he said, وَمِن ذُرِّيَّتِي. What about my progeny, my descendants? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala replied and he said, قَالَ لَا يَنَالُ عَهْدِ الظَّالِمِينَ. He said, yes, it will apply to some, to part of your progeny, but not to everyone. My promise is not going to apply to those people who transgress, who do not follow my command. This is really important. Today I'm going to talk about leadership. There's a lot of leadership discussions. We talk about leadership all the time. This ayah actually is fundamental to us Muslims to understand the concept of leadership in Islam. First, we learn that leadership is not a title. Ibrahim alayhi salam did not get the title Imam initially. He earned it after passing many tests. So leadership, the first thing we learn, leadership is not a title. It's not a position. Unfortunately, nowadays, you give someone a title, a position of leadership, and they think they are now tyrants. They can command people around. You have to listen to me because I'm a leader. Whatever I say, you have to obey. That's how they understand leadership. So it's not an entitlement. It's not by inheritance either. Because when Ibrahim asked for his progeny, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told him, only the one who earns it, only the one who deserves it will get it. So it's not by inheritance. You don't give it to your children. You don't give a position of leadership to your children. They have to acquire it. They have to earn it. So many things we learn from this ayah about leadership. But let us look into these commands a little bit. What kind of test did Ibrahim have to pass in order to deserve this position of leadership? Because as we're going to see in our life, and I hope many of us will be true leaders, we're going to go through similar tests. All right? So let us examine some of those tests that Ibrahim a.s. had to go through, had to undergo in order to earn the name or the title Imam. And by the way, and I know like there are different names for leadership. You can say qa'id, you can say, someone in charge. But Imam is the best title or the best representation of leadership. Because Imam doesn't just mean you lead the prayer. Imam is anyone worthy of following. That is the Islamic definition of Imam. Anyone worthy of following. This is why when it comes to matters of deen and understanding the religion and knowledge, we have imams like Imam Abu Hanifa, Shafi'ee and others, and Malik and Ahmad and so on. When it comes to political leadership, we call them imams as well. In the hadith, when the Prophet mentions imam in the context of leadership and political leadership, he's talking about the Khalifa. So imam applies to many different roles. But in a nutshell, anyone worthy of following. You can be an imam, anybody can be an imam. So let us talk about that. Al-Hasan al-Basri one time was asked, what are those words that Allah tested Ibrahim with? Al-Kalimat, that is mentioned here. And he started counting. He said, ابتلاه بالكوكب والقمر والشمس فرضي عنه. The first test was a theological test. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when Ibrahim was young, He tested him about who is your Lord. Is it the sun? Is it the moon? Is it the planet? And Ibrahim alayhi salam replied, and at the end he said, my Lord is Allah the Creator. He was able to recognize the true Lord. And he declined or he rejected the other false gods. So he passed the theological test. From a young age, he was very bright. He understood the universe and who's in charge of it. And that's really good, an inspiration for all young kids. You don't have to be a theological scholar to know this. And not only he understood it, he fought for it. He almost lost his life because of it. Because he refused to worship the idols. That's another aspect of leadership. See, leadership again is not what I come and give you a title, I say you're responsible for this committee or this masjid or this and that. True leadership is when you're able to stand by your conviction. You're willing to fight for it and even die for it sometimes. It's when you identify a problem and you don't wait for other people to come and tell you what to do. You own it, you jump on it and you say, you know what? I'm going to solve it. No one else is doing it. I'm going to do it. That is leadership. So he said, because of passing this test, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala radiya anhu. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was very happy with Ibrahim alayhi salam at a young age, able to understand this. فَأَحْسَنَ فِي ذَلِكَ. And Ibrahim did ihsan. Like not only he got the answer, he got a perfect answer. A perfect score on the first test. The second test, he said, وَابْتَلَاهُ بِالنَّارِ فَصَبَرَ عَلَى ذَلِكَ. When he was opposing his entire tribe, his entire people in Iraq, they decided to throw him in the fire. And Ibrahim alayhi salam was not scared. He said, I have trust in my Lord. I have trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He'll save me. He'll take care of me. I don't need anyone else to come and help me or defend me. So he was patient with that test. He said, فَصَبَرَ عَلَى ذَلِكَ. And he passed the test. The third one, ثُمَّ ابْتَلَاهُ بِالْهِجْرَةِ فَخَرَجَ مِنْ بِلَادِهِ وَقَوْمِهِ. And then he was tested by migration. He had to leave all his people, the land he grew up in that he loved so much. He did not know any other land. That was a major test to leave, and especially if you don't have any plans to leave, and you have to leave all of a sudden. Think about all the refugees. These people are not like you and I. We planned to come here, we got the visa, and then we came and we lived a luxurious life, we studied and whatever. Refugees don't have this option. They're told, like, they come and the same night you have to leave the house. Where do you go? No idea. Can I take anything? No. So Ibrahim alayhi salam had to abandon all the comfortable life he had. Everything comfortable that he had to abandon, he had to leave. So that was a major test. To leave this whole land he was so familiar with, and to go to a new land he was not familiar with. He went to Palestine, to Egypt, to Arabia. And that is part of his test also. Being tested by different people, like the king of Egypt, was not very nice. Right? And in Arabia, they had also several like afflictions, lack of water, having to leave his family there. And then the major test came. وَابْتَلَاهُ اللَّهُ بِالذَّبْحِ. When the command came to sacrifice his own son, his beloved son, after long, long years with no children whatsoever. That's a major test. And Quran told us this was the major test. This is the climax, the peak. And again, Ibrahim alayhi salam was able to pass the test. Not to mention other kind of tests. If you read, especially the Sunnah, you see even more examples. Like when he was 80, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded him to do circumcision on himself. And also he gave him all the commands, the rituals of Hajj. So any kind of command is actually included here with the kalimat. So we see that those tests kind of encompass all aspects of life. Theological, physical, emotional, some related to pain and suffering, some related to relationships like your own son, right? Some of it has to do with commands and whether you obey or not. Then Ibrahim alayhi salam was declared an imam. This is why when someone came to Imam Shafi'ee and asked this beautiful question, I'm glad those people, like smart people, come and ask scholars questions like this. Someone came to him and said, أيهما أفضل الابتلاء أم التمكين? Which one is better for a person, you and I? Is it to be tested by Allah and to go through afflictions and hardships? Or is it to be established and to have power and strength and to govern and to rule, to be in a position of power? Which one is better? I mean, each one of them has a merit. If you are tested by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and you're patient, you get so many rewards. But also, if you're in charge and you spread justice and fairness and compassion, that's also very good. I mean, we want good people in the positions of power. We should not leave it to the corrupt people. So that's a really good question. Which is better for me? Which is more rewarding? Do I get more rewards if I was tested, if I'm weak? And really the question is it better to be weak or strong? If you're weak, you undergo a lot of hardships, but you are patient, you earn a reward. If you're strong and you have power in positions of leadership and responsibility, and you're able to command justice, that's also great. A lot of rewards. So which one is better? Imam Shafi'ee radiallahu anhu, he looked at him and said, لا يمكن حتى يبتلى. Very, very intelligent answer. He said, first of all, he's not going to be established. No one is going to be established and become a leader until they undergo trials and tribulations. So it's not either or, he said. You misunderstood the relationship. It's not like that. It's not like I pick one or the other. He says it's more like a cause and effect. First you are tried and you go through hardships, and then you earn this position of leadership. Again, leadership is not given to you. It's not a title you get. Rather, you earn it. And there's a process. And only if you pass, then you get to be a true leader. Now again, we're not talking here about false leaders. We have so many of those. especially today. So many positions. You look at any government, not just the president or the king. You have the ministers, you have the parliament people, the congressmen, so many types of leaders, or CEOs of companies and what have you. But here we're talking about true leaders who deserve the title imam or leader. All right. Now, when we also read, and in the Quran, there are many examples and many mentions of imam and a'imma. So I would recommend you guys look those up because we don't have time to go through each ayah. But one ayah that implies what Imam Shafi'ee said, because Imam Shafi'ee is a very big faqih. He's able to deduce rulings from Quran and Sunnah, even places you don't suspect or you don't even think it is applicable. It looks like he deduced this ruling from the ayah, وَجَعَلْنَا مِنْهُمْ أَئِمَّةً يَهْدُونَ بِأَمْرِنَا لَمَّا صَبَرُوا وَكَانُوا بِآيَاتِنَا يُوقِنُونَ. You notice in this ayah Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, we have made leaders out of them because of two qualities. One quality is because they showed patience. Well, you show patience when you undergo trials and tribulations. So this ayah is implying that there are difficulties and hardships before you become a leader. Because here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it a condition. They became imams, they became leaders after they were patient and certain in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or having belief in the revelation. All right. There's a big question here though. Is leadership by nature or nurture? Is it something that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala endows certain people, so you're born a leader? Or can we make leaders? So do we find them or make them? That's a big question. If leadership is by nature, then we have to find these leaders amongst us and really promote them, because we have to be led by good people. Our community needs good leaders. It is not acceptable now we have, mashallah, some leaders and the next generation doesn't have any leaders. We should be looking for leaders among our youth. These are the next generation. They are the future of our community. So it's a big question. Do we look for them or do we make them? Like, is there an amount of training we can do to create leaders? That's a really good question. And the answer is both. It's nature and nurture. Let me give you an example. You can in fact spot leadership among very young people. Like you can look and see maybe a sister, like a girl, she's 5 years old or 6 years old, and she has a sister, and she's taking care of her all the time. She does not wait for the mom to say, oh, can you look after your sister? No, she does it on her own. She does not wait, because she realizes she has some responsibility. Maybe she's 6 and her sister is 5 or 4. We see that sometimes. Boys and girls exhibit that behavior sometimes. Or sometimes you see the opposite. See some kids, anything that happens, oh, it's his fault, it's her fault. They're always shifting the blame. That's the opposite of leadership. So no doubt, part of leadership is by nature. SubhanAllah. Some people are born leaders. They assume responsibility on their own. You don't have to say anything. And others, you keep repeating, say, you're in charge of this, you're in charge of that. And they cannot do a thing. And the minute they face any challenge, they start calling you. How can I do this? How can I do that? Should I call? I just gave you a responsibility. Just take care of it. I gave it to you so you don't call me every 2 minutes. But subhanAllah, these people like that. Some people are fit and made to be leaders, and others don't have it in them, and that's totally fine. So that is the part which is by nature. Now, it doesn't mean that somebody who is a leader by nature, that we cannot nurture that further and grow it further. All right? So we have to talk about this a bit more to explain it, because I don't want you to walk away with the impression that only few of us are leaders and the rest are not good anymore, like they're not fit for anything. That's not what I mean. So let me explain it a little further. But also it helps when we have a good definition of leadership. Like, what is one good definition of leadership? One good definition is I identify a problem. Let's talk about the community, right? You come to the masjid. Again, you see two types of people. Some people who love to complain the whole time. The masjid is this, the masjid is that, the board doesn't do this, the board doesn't do that. And ya akhi, what are you doing? And what do you think the masjid is? Like, what is it made of? I like to ask some of these people, what do you think the masjid is made of? It's made of volunteers like you and I. They have the same job, the same family, the same worries. Do you think they just came from heaven? And they're fully in charge and you have no responsibility to assume whatsoever? That's a wrong mindset. But subhanAllah, if somebody comes, he sees many programs happening, but he identifies a small little gap. Maybe they identify a problem and they say, everybody else is trying their best, but this gap, I will own it. Because no one else is taking care of it. Maybe these people are so busy, so preoccupied. I will go ahead and own this piece. It's on me. I'll take care of it. And I'll do whatever it takes to make it work. I'll recruit the people that I think they're fit for this. We'll work together and we'll solve it. That is leadership. Simple. You don't need any titles. You don't need anybody. You don't need to wait for somebody to come and tell you do this or don't do that. Leadership is self-initiated. You have to take the initiative. You have to be proactive. So I hope this is a good definition of leadership. So we start from the same foundation. So now let's go back to the question, is leadership for everyone? And the answer is, it depends. We have to separate two types of leadership. There's one type of leadership that everybody should be doing, no exception. And there's another type of leadership that only a few of us will assume. And this is just the way life works. So what is the leadership that everybody should be doing? And there are no exceptions here. Number one, excelling in your own life and being a good competitor in life. That is leadership, and that's everybody, no exception. Upholding your responsibilities is everybody, no exception. You can say, well, I'm not fit to be a leader. I was not created to be a leader, so I'm going to absolve myself from all responsibilities. That's not correct. Let's take this example. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us in the Quran, وَالَّذِينَ يَقُولُونَ رَبَّنَا هَبْ لَنَا مِنْ أَزْوَاجِنَا وَذُرِّيَّاتِنَا قُرَّةَ أَعْيُنٍ وَجَعَلْنَا لِلْمُتَّقِينَ إِمَامًا. I'm going to ask you, this is a dua that everybody should be making, no exception. You're making this dua, you're saying, oh Allah, grant us, hiba is, hab yani from hiba, like gift us or grant us from among our spouses and children, great ones, that we have qurratu ayn. Like, if something is so good, you want to be staring at it all the time, you don't want to remove your sight from them. This is how good they are. The children, the spouses, you want them to be qurratu ayn, meaning you want to keep staring at them and not have to look away. So if you have a child and you feel every time you look at them, you feel like, I can't look, I have to look away because I'm not impressed. That's not qurrat ayn. And I hope none of us have that. But look what they said, وَجْعَلْنَا لِلْمُتَّقِينَ إِمَامًا, and make us leaders for all the people of taqwa. Make me a leader of taqwa, in taqwa. That is applicable to every one of us. No one can say, well, I have a family, but I don't feel responsibility to my children. You're a dad, you're a mom. You can't say that. And this is why you see in this ayah, there's a link between family, because here it's talking about spouses and children. And immediately then it says, and make me an imam, make me a leader. So each and every one of us has to be a leader when it comes to family. Self-improvement, improving your kids, your spouses, is a position of leadership that everybody should assume, no exception. And this is the magic, the secret of the hadith that you all know. كُلُّكُمْ رَاعٍ وَكُلُّكُمْ مَسْئُولٌ عَنْ رَعِيَّتِهِ. In this hadith, the Prophet said, everybody is ra'. What is ra'? Some people translate it as shepherd. I don't like the translation. It's better to say caretaker, because from ra' is to care for something. We all care for something. Maybe we should remove this mic a bit because it's making some... It's made it worse. Perfect. If you can also move forward, inshallah, because we have some people in the back. All right, perfect. So listen to this hadith, very nice hadith. It says, each and every one of you is a caretaker. كلكم راع وكلكم مسؤول عن رعيته. And each and every one of you is responsible for the people who they care for. So this does not absolve anyone from responsibility. Each and every one of us is responsible for something. Anything you care for. You might say, I don't have any children. You might be caring for a cat, right? And you cannot just let the cat die because you forgot to put food. That's part of your responsibility, right? And this applies to anything you care for, right? وَفِي كُلِّ كَبْرٍ رَطِبَةٍ صَدَقَةٍ. The Prophet told us, anything that breathes, anything that has life in it, there is a charity. There's an opportunity for charity in it. If you do good to a small bird, a fly, anything, then there is a reward in it. Likewise, caring for the masjid, the community, that's a communal responsibility. You can't say, well, I'm not fit for leadership. You don't need to be a leader to go and help in the community, right? Like I said, you identify a particular gap, you go and help, that is leadership. That's on everybody. Because if you leave it only for the very few, they burn out and they disappear, and we have no good leader to lead. So you have to assist everybody else. That is leadership on everybody. Also, what is required from everybody, and it's part of leadership, is not to be a follower, like gullible. Anything you hear, you believe and you obey. And there is a narration that says this: لا يكن أحدكم إمعة. None of you should be إمعة, like a blind follower. إذا أحسن الناس قال أحسنت وإن أساءوا أسأت. Like some of us might say, or some people might say, if people are doing good, I'll do good. And if they're doing something not good, I'll follow too. Happens a lot in high school. See somebody being bullied, and you go along with it. You know it is wrong, you know it's evil, but you go along with it. The Prophet told us you should not be like that. He said, rather, وَطِّنُوا أَنفُسَكُمْ. Anchor yourself, ground yourself, have some spine. Stand on your feet. وَطِّنُوا أَنفُسَكُمْ. إِذَا أَحْسَنَ النَّاسُ أَحْسَنْتُمْ. If they do good, good. You do like them. That's fine. وَإِنْ أَسَاءُوا أَن تَجْتَنِبُوا إِسَاءَتَهُم. But if they do anything bad or evil, you stay away from it. The least you do, stay away from it. Don't approve it. Don't condone it. Unfortunately, we see some Muslims, they come to this country and they only find the bad things in this country and they do it, or they increase it. Instead of opening, maybe you can open a coffee shop for people to study, you open a hookah place. Just a small example. I don't mean to pick up on anybody. But the point is, look for the good stuff in this country. It has so many good things. And increase them, enhance them. Do them. But if there's anything in this country that's not good, why do you have to follow it? No one forces you to do it. You don't have to go to the club. You don't have to take interest. You don't have to go and drink or work in a place that serves liquor. You don't have to do that. There's so many options in this country. So the Prophet ﷺ told us, be a leader in that sense. Don't just be a follower just because the majority of people are doing drugs, I'll go do drugs. What kind of mindset is that? That's a mindset of a weak follower, a blind follower. But a true leader, even if you're on your own, you say, this is my conviction. And I'm proud of it. I'm a Muslim. I don't care what other people are doing. Even if I'm the only student in this high school, in this public school, I'm a Muslim, I'm proud of it. I don't care what other people do. Let them have their girlfriends and boyfriends. I'll wait until I get married because this is my religion, and guess what? I am proud of it. I don't care what other people do. That is definitely a manifestation of personal leadership. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم. Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah, amma ba'd. In the remaining time, let's talk a bit about the special leadership that only few of us will acquire, because that's the other type of leadership, all right? And that takes more, like I said, nature, talent, skills, and what have you. Not all of us will have this type of leadership. This is usually the leadership of the entire community, or maybe you're in charge of an important project or a committee. Anytime you're in charge of other people, that is the special type of leadership we're talking about here. So now it's not about you or your family, your immediate circle. This is when you assume leadership of the larger community or part of it. So that is the second type. And this is the one that is not necessarily fit for everybody. You got to have certain skill set. Like I said, you take the first step. Not everybody does that, and that's fine. You might feel a bit timid or scared. But a true leader, and these are rare people, by the way, even for the first time, no one has ever stepped this way, for example. And you're the first one to take the step. Everybody is afraid. But when they see you make that first step, it's probably totally dark. Figure of speech, by the way. It's probably totally dark. But they're the only ones who have the vision and the courage to make that step. And when they see you make that step, everybody is following you. That is true leadership. And again, you don't have to wait for an assignment or a title. This is the ability to lead people, to manage people. Look at this hadith from the Prophet ﷺ, talking about this type of leadership. Abu Dharr narrates, and he says, قال قلت يا رسول الله ألا تستعملني. He said, O Prophet of Allah, don't you use me, don't you give me a position of leadership. Like maybe I can be a commander. I can be in charge of a group of people, an expedition maybe. Or maybe in charge of a city or a town, like you're the leader of that. The Prophet ﷺ was very gentle, but he also wanted to deliver this message. So he told them, قال فضرب بيده على منكبي. First, the Prophet ﷺ put his hand on his shoulder, on Abu Dharr's shoulder. Like as if to say, like, take it easy, like we're friends. But let me tell you this, a friendly advice. قال يا أبا ذر, O Abu Dharr, إنك ضعيف. You are weak. And here he's not talking about physical weakness. All right? This is about charisma. This is about like these leaders who inspire. Not everybody is like that, right? So if you have a strong personality, you are strong in that respect. You are decisive, like you make decisions quickly, you don't wait forever. So there's certain qualities not everybody has. So he told them, إِنَّكَ ضَعِيف. You are weak in that respect. You don't have what it takes to be that kind of leader. وَإِنَّهَا أَمَانَةً. And this is a trust. We don't just give it to everybody just because you come from a good family or you think you earn it or deserve it. He said, إِنَّهَا أَمَانَةً. It's a trust. وَإِنَّهَا يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ خِزْيٌ وَنَدَامَةٌ. And on the day of judgment, if you don't do it properly, it's going to be a source of remorse. You're going to feel so bad. You're going to regret it. You're going to regret the fact that you are a leader in this life. In a different narration, gives us a slightly different aspect. He said, إِنِّي أَرَاكَ ضَعِيفًا. I see you, that you have weakness in personality. وَإِنِّي أُحِبُّ لَكَ مَا أُحِبُّ لِنَفْسِي. Again, to make it like gentle and everything, he said, I love for you what I love for myself. Like, it's not because I don't like you. Like, I love you, truly, as a brother. However, my advice to you, Abu Dharr, لا تأمرن على اثنين. Don't even be a leader on two people. Imagine the Prophet ﷺ forbidding Abu Dharr to be a leader on top of two people, like commanding two people even. Like you might say, this is so easy. What is it like? I can't even be the lead for like a group or a team of 2 people. That's nothing. But that is the advice of the Prophet ﷺ. Some people are not fit for that even. To be the lead of a team of 2 people, some people are not fit for that. وَلَا تَوَلَّيَنَّ مَالَ يَتِيمٍ. SubhanAllah, the words of the Prophet ﷺ are so concise, so compact and concise. He mentioned 2 very, very essential qualities for a leader. Number 1 is leading people and managing people, and the other one is managing money. Most of our problems today, the leaders we have that are not good, they have done poorly managing people and managing money. So he said, don't be in charge of any money related to an orphan. وَلَا تَوَلَّيَنَّ مَالَ يَتِيمٍ. This tells us that a true leader has to be a good manager of people and money. Again, these are qualities not everybody has. That's fine. Just let the people who have those qualities and characteristics, let them lead. And don't fight for it if you think you're not qualified. So I hope I did justice, and I'm out of time, but I hope you could see now the different types of leadership. 1, everybody should do the personal leadership in your family, among your friends and your children. That is everybody. The leadership that you don't follow anybody on the internet or on social media. You have a mind of your own. You always use your intellect and mind, and you're not easily swayed or being gullible and you believe everything you hear. That is leadership. Everybody has to apply. Likewise, you're in school. You're not easily influenced by this friend or that friend. That is leadership that everybody has to apply. Everybody has to exercise. But then we have this special type of leadership, certain qualities, the charisma, the personality, the decisiveness, all of that. Only few people can do it. So let them be and give them assistance and support. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to allow us to do that, because we're not going to be able to succeed as a community in this country unless we truly understand leadership and apply it properly and follow the Quran and Sunnah. Like I said, there are many, many other ayat and hadith about this. I tried my best to summarize it, condense it in half an hour or so. And I hope I did a bit of justice. اللهم ربنا لا تدع لنا في هذا اليوم العظيم ذنبا إلا غفرته ولا هما إلا فرجته ولا مريضا إلا شفيته ولا عدوا إلا هزمته وقسمته ولا حاجة هي لك رضا ولنا فيها صلاح إلا قضيتها لنا ويسرتها يا أرحم الراحمين.